A new report coming in from the Associated Press. They say a U.S. Air Force jet deported 80 migrants shackled at their wrists and ankles to Guatemala. You're seeing it with the video on your screen. They say this detoured around Mexican airspace because U.S. military overflights require more advance notice than the Trump administration can give as it rapidly accelerates deportations. The flight reflects a growing role for the U.S. Armed Forces in helping carry out immigration laws as the Trump administration looks to supplement the use of civilian charter flights by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. We continue to follow this compelling story here on Live Now from Fox, and we want to bring into the conversation Naresh Gehi, immigration and trial attorney based in New York City. Naresh, good morning to you. A pleasure having you join us this Saturday morning.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be here today. Jean.
So Naresh, we've seen even before President Donald Trump was at the inauguration, this was his campaign promise. This was something that he ran on, and we are seeing that come to fruition. We've seen several federal courts trying to combat this. We've seen on the state level how some of the attorneys general are going against President Donald Trump. What are you seeing with your expertise? What is the latest this Saturday morning?
What I'm seeing is that the law is being blatantly abused. The rule of law is not being followed. I mean, when you are actually catching people, a lot of them have rights, and they should be explained the rights that they have the right to go before a judge. You cannot just rampantly pick up people and just put them on flights and not inform them about what how they can appear before the judiciary and let the judge know about their situation. That is something which I'm saying is not being followed. There's a lot of fear amongst everybody. Even people who are documented are scared because people who have work permits, even they are scared. There are people who have undocumented nannies working for them who are actually Americans. They are scared. But I think this needs to stop, and we need to engage in comprehensive immigration reform. On the streets of New York, you see people are not even walking anymore. I mean, a lot of, places like Jackson Heights, Flushing, people are so scared. They are like not even, coming out. They're scared. They're staying at home. They really don't know what to do. There's a lot of confusion which is going on in the nation.
Naresh, you mentioned the confusion, the fear that people across the nation have on this Saturday morning. With you being an immigration and trial attorney, I'm sure you've gotten the question from migrants, what are my rights during this time? Is this legal? Those are the questions that continue to come out on this Saturday. Can you break this down for us from the legal perspective?
From a legal perspective, people have rights. If you have not been ordered deported from the country by an immigration judge, do not sign any documents, because under the law, you should be produced before an immigration judge, because the right person to order you deported if you don't have an immigration order against you is the immigration judge. So, but there are some times wherein I've seen, ICE officers telling them, sign this document and we are trying to help you. Do not do that. Under the Sixth Amendment, you have the right to counsel. Under the Fifth Amendment, you can remain silent. That's your right against self-incrimination. And please let them know that I want to appear before an immigration judge. Secondly, if you come from a country wherein you fear persecution, you may still be eligible to apply for late asylum. There is no law that stops us from applying for a late asylum, especially if country conditions are bad. Like if you're looking at some countries which are war-torn, of course you can go for a late asylum. And the power to actually deport you, if you don't have an order of deportation, lies with the immigration judge and not with the executive branch of the government, except for in very rare instances. If it's an aggravated felony, still they have to put you in jail. You should have your day in court. Only after the judge decides, then you should be deported, especially if you do not have a removal order against you.
Naresh, as we further discuss this compelling topic, how does this further relate to birthright citizenship? And then maybe there are families out there where migrants, some of them in the family are here of legal status while others aren't. How does it relate to those type of families?
As far as those families are concerned, they're all scared because I know that the government will be appealing this. But, as a sigh of relief, the way I look at it, there's a very rare chance that the Supreme Court will actually grant, Trump's relief, for birthright citizenship, because it makes it very clear. And even the judge said that there's been a precedent from the Supreme Court for more than 100 years, and they should have not even been brought up before me. And that was a slap on the face of the administration here that, this case shouldn't have been before me, number one. Secondly, if they want to do that, there are legal ways of doing it. The right way to do it is to take it to Congress, get a two-third majority, and only after that happens, which I think is very, very rare that will happen, then only the administration has rights to enact what they want. But right now, it's like, they're doing whatever they want, and that is not the American way. Acting in an arbitrary and capricious fashion and running the nation is not the right way to run a nation. And we also need to make sure that even good immigrants in this country who are legal, people who have green card holders, even they are scared. If they're saying that this is the plight of people in this nation, what is going to happen to me next? These are the questions I'm getting in my law firm. Everyone is scared. Everyone is scared. People who have been residents in this country for the longest time, even they are scared now. And that is really going to have a drastic impact upon our economy.
Naresh, as you continue to mention, people being scared in real time, it's also important to note how many Americans are scared, in the headlines of people who have committed rapes and murders, criminal gang members that are here in America illegally that continue to go against the justice system in real time. We've even seen how some might have been out on bail and been repeat offenders. Can you speak to that side of the conversation? Because we know the fear is on both sides of the aisle.
Absolutely. And since I believe in playing the middle ground of immigration, incorrigible offenders, people who are aggravated felons, I believe that if they have an order of deportation, the government has every right to act. But if they have not been produced before the immigration judge, it is their right to appear before the immigration judge. They should be produced before the immigration judge, and the judge should decide exactly what is right or wrong. And of course, I have no sympathy for people, who are actually, incorrigible offenders, like who are like violent felons, people who really kind of harm Americans. But what I want the administration to do is to play the middle ground. Like in the state of New York, if you look at the number of undocumented immigrants, more than 50% of the undocumented immigration population of New York has been here for more than 10 years. And these people are harmless. So people who are violent felons in every state, of course, the law should be applied. But a lot of these people who are undocumented, who are good, they have families, because not many people know that even if you're married to an American citizen, and if you're undocumented, and even if you do not have a criminal record, you may not qualify for a green card. So if the law is not changed, or if it's not properly applied, that is going to have a devastating impact upon American families.
Naresh Gehi, a pleasure having you on the show to discuss both sides of this conversation. We know in real time this is a developing story, and we appreciate your candor, and we appreciate your perspective on the topic. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Jean. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.